Welcome to the annual report, Year in Review. I'm Commissioner President Peter Murphy, and I'm joined today by Michael Malinoff, who's our County Administrator. And we have a lot to report today. A lot of good news has happened in Charles County over this last year. And in a little bit, you're going to be hearing from each of our directors and the departments to explain some of the accomplishments that they've enjoyed over this past year. But I thought, Mike, I'd leave it to you just to kind of get us started and talk from your perspective of some of the things that we've accomplished this year.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Murphy. It's been a great year, and I look forward to doing this because we get to talk about all the great work of the departments and the employees and what we've achieved. I think one of the major accomplishments, and the commissioners are front and center on that, is the AAA bond rating. We've been able to sustain that, and the finances of the county is in really good shape.
It's a huge accomplishment. It's something really to be proud of.
Very much. One of the things about the county that really is outstanding is the types of amenities that we provide our residents and visitors alike. And the commissioners recently were able to dedicate the Tom Rowland Park. As a cyclist, I often saw it as a work in progress along Chapel Point Road, but I'm sure that you've had some opportunities to take your grandchildren there too.
Well, I have, and I think that really touches on two things. Number one, by adding that park and certainly dedicating it to Mr. Rowland, who had put in so many years to expanding our park system here in Charles County was a privilege to be able to do that. But the other thing, when you mentioned the grandkids, is that I get the opportunity to go to a lot of our other parks, and through soccer and baseball and so forth, and they're beautifully kept up. And it gives me a great amount of pleasure to see the thousands of families and children that are able to use these parks in Charles County. And that's just what you just referred to is that it's really expanding that. So.
Well, I think you're lucky you're able to bring the children out and have them beta tested for you.
Right. That's
so
right.
We'll tell you it's a wonderful thing, and they'll say, well, Grandpa, I want this or that.
Right, yeah. Well, no complaints. I haven't heard any complaints at all, none at all.
The Mallows Bay Park, and I think that is nearing completion, and that's really an exciting opportunity for the county and the world, really.
We're keeping our fingers crossed. We're looking for a designation, I'm hoping, sometime this spring in 2018.
That would be great, and sort of wrapping all that up is the recently completed branding study that Recreation Parks and Tourism did to feature our beautiful county and promote it for visitors from the state, the region, and the world.
Right, and you mentioned the world, and I think that people underestimate the influence. If we were to get this designation as a sanctuary, that it would be the first in about the last roughly 20 years in this country that any marine sanctuary has been designated. And to get that in Charles County is a pretty significant accomplishment.
One of the things that I remember early in my career is the important things that people look at is our roads and picking up trash and just providing the basic services. And one of the neat projects that's soon to come online is a roundabout that is very near completion. I know that's very important to you and your colleagues.
Yeah, we're very happy to be able to get that in place. And I know some people are not very comfortable with roundabouts initially, but we did, through staff and through your direction, we're able to do studies and found that actually a roundabout, number one, will move traffic more efficiently and safer.
Our Economic Development Department has been working very hard on promoting our county and bringing in good opportunities. We've all heard about the recent submission of the Amazon bid, which was kind of exciting, but also the addition of some new staff to economic development, and one having to do with agriculture promotion and retention.
Right, and I appreciate so much that the Department of Economic Development, again under your leadership, really followed through on a promise that we made basically in the comprehensive plan, is that we would in fact create a position for an agricultural marketing individual, because we heard from that industry here in Charles County how important it was to help support the agricultural community in Charles County. And I think that'll add to some of the economic development initiatives that have been put in place.
I agree, and I often send emails from my wanderings in the state and in the country of various brew pubs. I'm doing research, you see.
Right.
And I send that to the Economic Development Department to show them how it's done in other places and how it could really bring a lot of value added. Right. One of the neat things you're seeing in our state is they're having farming set up where they grow hops and actually set up a brew pub on site, as well as a structure in a warehouse or the like. So I'm excited about it, both for the betterment of the county and also to wet my whistle on an occasion.
Right. Well, I think one of the things too that really is important to recognize here is not only your willingness, but the support of the commissioners to really move forward with this county and to really look at the fact that just doing business the same old way over and over again just isn't going to get us to where we need to be. So to be willing to expand and to look for other opportunities, I think is critical as to how we sustain a really, really good quality of life here in Charles County.
I think our residents, you really speak to an issue that's near and dear to my heart, and the employees and our residents, which is keeping opportunities and jobs in our communities so they don't have to necessarily commute into DC a couple hours each way. And then also to provide the kind of infrastructure and arts and entertainment, and we talked about recreation, but also venues where people can bring their families and not have to drive outside of the county. And economic development's worked very hard on that, and I think they're to be applauded. Absolutely. And one of the things I know the commissioners worked on hard this year is to try to reach into our community, our school children or college age. I call them children, but
to my age, they're all kids too, right?
Myself
Given
included,
my age, right?
I have 2 college graduates and 1 in college, and they're still my kids.
Right.
And but you've expanded the internship program with Human Resources, and that was very exciting. Wasn't there one in your office, though, that worked on a particular project that was really quite good?
There was a terrific, one program and a fine young person that really got very invested in trying to support our veterans in Charles County. We get a lot of requests for veteran services, what is available in Charles County, and there's a lot, but it's never been really pulled together. So under the direction of our staff person, she worked very closely with this young man, and he put together a resource guide for our veterans. So it's almost like a one-stop shop kind of thing. So veterans in this county, when they're looking for something, now have a place to go for that.
One of the things that the residents end up seeing are bricks and mortar projects. The first one being is the new senior and multi-generational center, and the second one being a new animal shelter. I know both of those projects were very important to the commissioners, and we are making progress on both. Well, I will say on the multi-generational center that after attending the seniors luncheon the other day with you, it's a very energized group of people, and
you can count on that's absolutely true. But
now that we both are kind of entering that demographic,
right.
Perhaps it's a little self-serving.
I'm there already.
You're there.
I'm there already.
I'm not quite willing to admit that yet, but I'm getting there.
But I will say that you mentioned dancing, because when I went and met with the seniors about the kinds of things they wanted to see in this building, that was one of the things they said. Make sure there's a dance floor. So
the animal shelter, I can think over my career of few items that bring out more people than people who own animals and to a meeting. And the new shelter is going to be adjacent or across the street from the baseball stadium. So it'll be virtually in the center of the county with easy ingress and access. So I think you're right, it will provide a lot more visibility so people can adopt and know what we're doing there. So it's very exciting. And one item that particularly stands out with me is the work our employees have been doing with something called High Performing Organization, HPO. And with the support of the commissioners, we've been able to come a long way in developing our workforce, making us a more effective and efficient government, but having decision-making cut across the organization and up and down the organization to break through silos and really engage the talent that we have here and build leadership. And one project that I know you're familiar with that was very successful here was something we called the the SOP Congress. We have many protocols in the county called SOPs, and we all felt that they were a little cumbersome.
Standard of
Operating procedures, right. And there was a group of employees that got together called the SOP Congress, and they brought it to the commissioners for your review and approval, and I thought that went very well.
It did, and I think that it's very important that we give our own employees opportunities to advance. And so this is just another example of how you're moving us in that direction, and to give our employees that opportunity to feel really valued. And they are. I mean, we can say that all the time, and we really mean it, about appreciating all that they do every day. But when they're actually able to participate in that process, I think they start to feel much better about their job, and they can obviously produce stuff that benefits all of us. So it's a great initiative. That's a perfect segue into the next segment, and that is to be able to hear now from our directors from each department, to be able to share with you some of the accomplishments that have occurred throughout 2017.
I'm Paul Renstead, and I'm the Director of Human Resources for Charles County Government. So one of the things that was a major project for Human Resources this year is we doubled the size of our intern program. We had 24 interns this summer, and what we did was we put together a program for them to expose them to all of the different aspects of county government. We did a tour. They got to see firsthand some very complicated operations. One of the really neat outcomes of the intern program, I think, was the video that was done by two of the interns who worked in the media services division. I think it really captures what the program was about. It gives you a real sense of the incredible talent of these young people and the contribution they made to county government. So we've really been working on the wellness front to make sure our employees are healthy and happy and engaged in work. We've been trying different activities. Some of them are geared towards fun things like a walking club or some information that gets shared on a regular basis with our employees from our wellness person. We really worked on coming up with more of a comprehensive program this year rather than just sort of one-time events. One of the things that I think was really exciting was we were recognized by Maryland's Healthiest Businesses with a bronze level award. That's a state award, and I believe there were only 2 other county governments that received that. But I think really what's fundamental or important about wellness is you're working at trying to save money, but you're also really trying to improve the quality of life for the employees. And I think as an employer, it's important to us that our employees are happy and healthy. In human resources, an ongoing area that we continue to work on is technology. We've automated a few things this year. We worked on, as a department, a number of departments have moved towards automated leave slips instead of the paper ones that have been used previously. It sounds like a small thing, but it actually, in terms of printing costs and in terms of just efficiency, that's made a big difference. We continue to work on automating our performance management system. We've got that in place with 2 departments at this point. One of the other things that we implemented this year was an online retirement calculator so that people in one of our pension plans can actually go on to the website and see what the implications are if they would think of retiring at a certain date or if they want to retire 2 years later. This actually has been a really productive year for the Human Resources Department. When I look at the to-do list at the beginning of the year and then look at what we've accomplished throughout the course of the year, it's pretty amazing. I have a really strong team of really talented people. They work hard and they really focus on producing quality results. And I think that is really what makes a difference here. I think it's a difference that you can see when you interact with Charles County government employees, and it's also a difference that I really see is how we serve those employees as well as members of the public.
I'm Darrell Brown, Director of Economic Development for Charles County, Maryland. The accomplishments of 2017 for the department were enormous. What first comes to mind is our Amazon proposal. And that proposal created an enormous amount of awareness for the county and for the department. It placed the county in a position to be a strategic player in economic development, not only in the state of Maryland, but in the DC metropolitan region. We hired 2 individuals that joined the department. Lucretia Freeman Buster is our new Chief of Business Development, and Martin Prue is our new Agriculture Manager. Lucretia comes with a great deal of experience in banking and business development, and so she has put together a business attraction retention program. Martin Prue, who is our new Agriculture Manager, is young, he's bright, he's a millennial. So he's out there beating the bushes, so to speak, and dealing with the agricultural community, farming, and helping farmers bring their products to market. And also he'll be working with the medical cannabis industry. As you know, we have 5 businesses that are locating to Charles County. And so we've been working with these businesses as well as with PGM to make their transition into the county as new businesses as seamless as possible, and that's going very well. CPV came online in 2017, and that was a major project. That was a long-term project, and we're very proud of having CPV up and going. Our research and development people have been doing a great deal of work, particularly in Indian Head. Taylor Ewell, he has been working very closely in the town of Indian Head. We had the Urban Land Institute to come in and do an assessment, an economic development assessment for the town of Indian Head. In addition to that, we provided a retail analysis report about the retail industry. As we know, the retail industry is transitioning, and we wanted to make sure that the community at large fully understand that we're on top of the retail industry in Charles County. I'm very happy to say that we've been able to efficiently execute on our 5-year strategic plan. We're into our 2nd year on execution of that plan, and I think at the end of the 5 years, we're going to see the benefits from doing that. We've got a number of people who received various designations over the course of this past year and various certifications, and so that only will enhance our ability to provide quality services to the business community in a more efficient and a more effective manner. And so I feel that the department is staffed the way it should be. We are funded the way that it should be. And that is something that will also prove beneficial and is a success for the department over the past year.
I'm Eileen Minnick, Director of Recreation, Parks, and Tourism. This past fiscal year, the county went through some organizational changes, and actually our department was formed. We're the newly created Department of Recreation, Parks, and Tourism. And it was bringing 3 wonderful divisions together that brought great pairing and synergies that could improve and enhance opportunities for our travelers, our visitors, but more importantly, our county residents. Prior to this, we worked closely together, but we were within separate departments. One of the wonderful pairings also out of this was the blending of our indoor sports with our outdoor sports into one sports office, bringing talented staff together to enhance the quality programs for all ages in our community, from youth to seniors. We've had some new programs that are being very well received. A new program is pickleball. Our pickleball program has grown greatly over just a few months of what we've been doing. It's a lot of retirees. If you haven't played pickleball, please check out a couple of our rec reports so you can see that information, or come by our Port Tobacco location and see pickleball in action. I'm here at the White Plains Golf Course. It's our beautiful 18-hole golf course with open fairways and Bermuda grass. When you're finished a round of golf, you can come into our clubhouse and enjoy that 19th hole. Tourism is another great division that has joined our department. As many know, Charles County is known as a premier fishing location. We had the opportunity to host the Elite Bassmasters Tournament, where fishermen from all over the United States converged for a few days, and we're based out of Smallwood Park for a wonderful fishing tournament. FLW is another tournament that comes through our county. And people may not know, but approximately 1/3 of our tax revenues coming back from the state is from our fishing. Fishermen are coming for a week at a time sometimes. They're bringing revenues to our county. They're using our hotels. They're shopping in our stores. They're eating in our restaurants. And we hear such great things from them as they're leaving our county that they really had a truly unique time in Charles County. Within this past year, with some of the growth that we've done, we are happy to say staff have been working diligently on our Port Tobacco River Park. Another one of our amazing parks is Mallows Bay. It's located in the western side of the county, and it really is worth the drive. I encourage everyone to come out and see it. It is the home of the Ghost Fleet. There are over 100 ships that are submerged below the water there at Mallows Bay. The majority of ships are from the World War I era, which we just celebrated the 100th anniversary of World War I just this past April. Under the Tourism Division is the Welcome Center, located at 301 South down near the Harry Nice Bridge. We've been making improvements to our center to incorporate more information about Charles County to entice the visitors coming to our county to stay and visit. Charles County is very historic and has wonderful things to offer. We are extremely proud of Charles County.
I'm David Eichholz, Director of Fiscal and Administrative Services. My department, Fiscal and Administrative Services, is made up of 5 divisions: the Budget Division, the Accounting Division, the Treasury Division, the Purchasing Division, and the IT Division. They all have similar but different functions. We all work together, and we're all involved in the financial management of the county. We're usually in 3 different fiscal years. Right now, I'm dealing with the FY2017 audit, which is a requirement every year. Obviously, we're currently in the FY18 fiscal year, which presents its own challenges. And then we will begin looking forward to FY19. We just started the budget process, opening the online process to our departments for their budget requests for next year. We expect to conclude the budget process in early May with the adoption of the FY19 budget. In between that time and now, there will be a lot of work being done, which will culminate in review with the Board of County Commissioners. The county is in a very good fiscal position right now. We're doing very well, both financially as well as economically. Our position towards Washington, D.C. is also an advantage. So we are very fortunate to get the AAA rating. The AAA bond rating is a rating we get from our 3 bond rating agencies, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch. Every time we issue bonds, we have to get the county rated from a fiscal, financial condition, and from an economic condition. So the higher the bond rating, the highest you can get is a AAA, the lower the interest rate you'll get on your bonds. What that means is the lower interest rate, you save money from your interest expense, from your debt service that you have to pay back on these bonds that are being issued to finance capital projects, the infrastructure within the county. So this past bond issue, we did get a reaffirmation of our bond rating of AAA from all 3 rating agencies. The $102 million carried with it approximately a 2.14 interest rate, which is extremely low, and it's the lowest that I've seen in a long time. A well-run financial management team can help you with financing all the needs, all the pressures of the community, and there are many from both public education, public safety, public works, everything. There's always a need, but you also have to be able to finance that need, and you also really have to take a long-term look at what you're doing, what you're financing, and what you're offering the community so that you're able to sustain it.
Hi, I'm Bill Shreve. I'm the Director of Public Works for Charles County. As the Director of Public Works, I'm very proud to work with a group of employees who are very concerned about citizen satisfaction and making sure that the citizens in Charles County get the services that they need as quickly as they need to come, and also at a cost that everybody can afford. Currently, our recycling rate in Charles County, we're mandated by the state of Maryland to meet at least 35%. We routinely meet about 51%, which equates to about 700 tons of recycling each month. In addition, we also have a new application for our citizens to use. The Waste Wizard is an application that you can download on your cell phone or iPad that you can use to get any kind of information you need about our recycling program. It includes copies of the schedules on when your scheduled pickup time is, as well as the types of materials that can be recycled or not recycled, and any other information that pertains to that recycling program can be gotten there. I'm very proud the way our workers interact with the citizens in Charles County when they're bringing their solid waste materials into the landfill. We are constantly looking at ways to improve the program here, and one of the things that we're looking at is a big automation program here. Shouldn't be too long. We've already worked on most of the design, and we should be starting construction within the next year on a very large automation program that's going to make coming to the landfill much easier and more efficient, and should also help us maintain costs and keep costs at a reasonable rate for our citizens. One of the other functions that actually occurs out of the landfill and recycling operations is our litter control, where we send people from the detention center that go around with some of our staff and they help clean up the roads in Charles County. The citizens disposal area is about a little over a year old now, and what it is a paved portion of the landfill that allows citizens to come in and back up the dumpsters to be able to dump their trash instead of having to drive up onto the landfill space. It's a lot safer, and also we have many of our employees out there that can help people unload stuff when they need help, and also they can help with some of the things that could be recycled that may be in with the trash. They could kind of take that out and separate it out and help the citizens understand what can be recycled and what can't. The past year for the Department of Public Works, which is made up of several other divisions in addition to the landfill and recycling that we talked about. Our roads division crews are all geared up and ready for the snow removal season. Our water and sewer guys are doing their jobs as far as making sure the drinking water provided to the public is safe, and that we're cleaning up all the water used by the community before it gets entered back into the environment. It's just been a very busy year trying to keep up with the needs of all of our citizens and at the same time keep our costs at a reasonable pace. We spend a lot of time looking for ways to improve efficiency or reduce cost or do the job a better way. We take pride in what we do, and we're glad to be serving the citizens of this county. Thank you.
My name is Bill Stevens, and I'm Director of Emergency Services for Charles County Government. Well, we've been very busy this year, some smaller projects, but really we've been engaged in 3 major projects that are going to impact the county for the next 20 to 25, 30 years. The first is the expansion of our animal shelter. As you know, our 2 partner counties, St. Mary's and Calvert, opted to go out and build their own shelters. And in November, we briefed the commissioners on that action, and they authorized us to construct a new animal shelter for Charles County alone. The facility will be located on Piney Church Road across from Regency Stadium, and will probably be occupied in late 2020 or early 2021. We're really looking forward to that because we need a new state-of-the-art facility. And the animal shelter is a division under our animal control division, and that's just one of the things that we manage in this department. We have 4 animal control officers, a chief, and then about 14 staff members at the Tri-County Animal Shelter. And that's always been Charles County's sole responsibility is to operate the shelter. When the shelter was originally built, it was built in 1961. And back then, those of us who are old enough to remember, those were dog pounds. They weren't animal shelters. Well, animal care standards have advanced considerably since that time. And so the facilities need to advance with those standards. And when we build this new facility, it will literally be state of the art. This room has more technology in it than the rest of county government. There's a 911 radio system here. There's a 911 telephone system here. So it's very heavy technology-wise. We've got 2 major projects going on in this room that'll be multi-year projects. Construction of the county's new 700 megahertz public safety radio system, which is an ongoing project. We're in phase 3 of that right now. We've got 2 more phases to go. And it's around a $40 million project at the end. And it'll probably take us a couple, 3 or 4 more years to do. The other part is the county's transition to a next generation 911. Right now, the county receives 911 calls across copper lines. And we're improving to a voice over IP environment where not only will we receive calls, but they'll receive texts, pictures, movies, and you don't understand how heavy the crush is for that. Because right now we'll get 2 calls typically from a landline, but 40 calls from wireless phones on the same incident. Well, now add to that pictures and movies and text, and it's a crush that's going to come down the road and affect this center. So that's a very, very important project. We're a growing department. I mean, there's a lot of things that emergency services have become involved in. It's hard to keep 165 people all going in the same direction, though. But there are a lot of different smaller projects here. We're trying to find additional space for our EMS operation and hazmat. This is where it all starts. When somebody needs help and they're having a bad day, they call the 911 center. If we don't get that call, then we can't send you the help that you need.
I'm Steve Kai Ziegler. I'm the Director of Planning and Growth Management for Charles County.
So in looking back over the last fiscal year, some things come to mind that were important and will continue to be important. I think that involves the new InterGov software. It's a new system, software, permitting software, that the county has entered into a contract with Tyler Technologies. We are going to update all of our automated processes that relate to how we take in permits at a permit counter, to reviewing subdivisions, site plans, stormwater management plans. When anyone wants to apply for a building permit, they have to come to the county complex. They stand at the permit counter. They fill out paperwork. We have a clerk, a technician who accepts that. It's reviewed. The process takes personal time to complete the work. They have to come to La Plata to do that. So what the new software system does is bring us into the 21st century. We'll have a system that allows applicants to submit a permit, let's say a shed permit application, over the web, and it will be reviewed on screens. We expect to be going live about 1 year from today. So we're really excited about the opportunity to do this. This is going to help us be far more efficient than we ever were in the past. It's more environmentally friendly. It means we need less storage space. We have better records. They're all electronic. That's invaluable. We had some, I'm going to say, relatively minor organizational changes to better serve the public, but we also had the unfortunate circumstance that we had two of our employees pass away somewhat unexpectedly. Frank Ward was our chief of CPIS, and Glenn Strobel handled water and sewer billing. Mr. Strobel was here for over 40 years, and you can imagine the loss of someone who's been this part of our community. Frank Ward had been with us for almost 10 and played a very large management role in the department, and their loss is, in a way, it's irreplaceable. And, hopefully we can keep them in our hearts. As you know, in 2016, in July, the county commissioners adopted a new comprehensive plan. The chief, I'm going to say, policy objective of that plan was the creation of what we call the Watershed Conservation District. So what we spent a good chunk of this last fiscal year doing was writing the text, creating a new zoning district, which is the WCD, or Watershed Conservation District. We also had to do a companion process of actually creating a map that physically mapped the area that the Watershed Conservation District would be applied. And along with that, we have a very large public process. But ultimately, the county commissioners ended up adopting the text and map amendments, and it is now the law of the land, and we are in the process of physically implementing that. And I think overall, it's been a success in implementing the policy objectives of our county commissioners. And those are some of the key things I think that when I look back on this last year, are the focal points for much of our energy. Hopefully dealing with those are going to help us a great deal with our customer service as we move forward.
I'm Dina Barclay, Acting Director for the Charles County Department of Community Services. The Charles County Department of Community Services is responsible for the County Housing Authority, the Local Management Board, and the Division of Aging and Human Services. We provide a wide array of programs and services for residents of Charles County, their family members, and caregivers. One of the most important things that we provide to the community in Charles County is support services and access to benefits and programs through our Maryland Access Point. Maryland Access Point of Charles County is a single point of entry, or no wrong door, for all programs and services for older adults, disabled adults, and persons with any long-term care needs, as well as their family members and caregivers. One of the most well-known programs that we've administered for a few years in Charles County is the Early Childhood Day. This is a broad community event that brings together providers of services for children, youth, and families, vendors, and public service employees to provide assistance, information, and activities and fun for community members. We actually have been able to offer the program for 9 consecutive years, along with our partners in the community. In 2017, we began a project in earnest with the Department of Recreation, Parks, and Tourism to develop our first ever joint community and senior center. The senior center will be located in Waldorf, Maryland, and when open, it will be replacing our current Waldorf Senior Center and will provide many more opportunities for members of the community to participate in senior activities, health and wellness programs, personal enrichment programs, and socialization for older adults, as well as children, youth, and families through the recreation side of the program. Some of the projects that we've done as we enter our winter months of 2017 are we assisted residents throughout the county with Medicare open enrollment. Our
staff are regularly out in the community. We go to all different locations, and we do education and outreach throughout the community on a wide variety of topics. Could be anything about, nutrition education, health insurance questions, fraud prevention, waste and abuse. Through an Older Americans Act partnership with the Southern Maryland Legal Aid Bureau, we also offer legal services outreach at all of our senior centers. Those services are free to older adults. Throughout tax season, we have volunteers who have been trained through the AARP Tax Program Assistance, and we will be offering free tax preparation for older adults of low income. The employees of the Department of Community Services, whether in Housing, Local Management Board, or Aging and Human Services, are often the first line of contact with the public, and it really is very rewarding for us to be able to answer some questions, provide them with some options, and guide them in the right direction to helping to solve critical needs in the community. As we wrap up 2017, we look forward to another great year of serving the citizens of Charles County. Please call us if we can be of any assistance to you.
I want to thank you again, Mike, for not only joining me today, but also for all the good work that you and your staff do, not only to support the county commissioner's policies and objectives, but for our residents in Charles County. And on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, we want to wish you all the best throughout 2018.